Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson, Lord's will is edifying. Now, I'm just going to go through some news. I don't really have nothing off the top of my head, so I'm just going to go through, see what's popping, and kind of go from there. As a matter of fact, I did see something. It was Dabu was saying something about this dude here, Peter Thiel, on ancient prophecies in Marte. Now, this is 6 months ago. I don't know why he's talking about it now, but I guess he's trying to. I didn't finish watching the whole thing, but in this part, he starts talking about the apocalypse. These people are crazy, man. They don't really say anything. They kind of look at the law, the revelation as if it's more mythical than actual, like, so they're not, the Lord's not dealing with them. Okay, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's go there. Let's go to it's like a book that is sealed, something like that. I think I spelled that. Yeah, spelled that wrong. Isaiah 29. Let's go there, because that's how they look at this book, man. No understanding at all. Isaiah 29. And I'll start at 8. And it shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and beholdeth he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold he drinketh, but he awaketh, and behold he is faint, and his soul have appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. So basically this is saying, like, just like a hungry man dreameth, man. You're hungry and you thinking about food, and same thing with, like, you being thirsty and your soul empty. That's how it's gonna be for everyone that come up against Jerusalem. Okay, you're not gonna get what you're longing for. Okay, ultimately you're gonna be destroyed. Isaiah 29:9, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink, because wine is likened unto philosophies. Okay, and you're drunken with we call it Babylon juice, man. That you actually believe everything that you hear, pretty much. But when you're faced with that actual true facts, when you're faced with scriptural things that are undeniable, you look at it as figurative. You look at it as, nah, that's not saying, that's not literal. And everything that is literal, you look at it as figurative, and everything that's figurative, you look as literal. And that's the pretty much the Christian doctrine in a nutshell. You're staggering with strong drink. Isaiah 29:10, for the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered. So that's why when you watch this, I'm afraid to even play it, because I might get a strike on it. But I'll play a little bit. Just actually, matter of fact, because I don't really like using Esau's channels. He'll strike your channel for this, man. Not that I really don't care about the channel. Ain't nobody watching it anyways. But this is something Dabu was talking about this, and I watched Dabu. Okay, and I guess he was talking about pretty much modern day tech. Brothers are starting to see, AI generated videos becoming much realer. I watched one of the brothers do a video today. I went online to the site he was showing, and I made an AI generated video myself, and it was very easy. It was very easy. All you got to type is what you want the thing to do, and it'll generate it right in front of you. So, I was impressed. It's kind of fun, as a matter of fact. But we know all these things are going to be used against us, so we're just being aware and blowing the trumpet, letting you know, hey, we're getting closer to the end. Okay. Um, as a matter of fact, let's see what he says. Because when you go over here, hold on, damn, what was I? 1642. See, he's talking about thermonuclear weapons. Um, let's just go right here. He says, and then technology was getting more powerful, but it didn't quite seem possible to do something on a worldwide scale. The Napoleonic Wars are quite violent. World War One is significantly worse, but it's still somehow localized. It's not the whole planet. So what he's basically trying to say is that the Bible was, when I watched it, he was basically saying like the Bible is, his name. What is this guy's name? I forgot. Um, the Bible isn't. It's basically saying what humans would do with technology as it increased. But he said it in a way that's like it's suggestive, you know. No, this is gonna happen, man. Okay, it's not a suggestion that this could happen if you go this route, you know. And he was trying to say, like, you know, of course we're gonna adjust. There's nothing sacred, you know. We've technology has gone very far, and you know we tested the bounds, and that's what they're doing. They said, you know, they're basically testing the Lord, man. Pushing every single button they can push with Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that's what they created to do. Okay? The Lord told you he's gonna have indignation forever with Esau. So they're created to do just that. Piss the Heavenly Father off to the point that they get utterly destroyed for the rest of the world to know he's nothing to play with. Okay? Proverbs 16:4. It says, the Lord have made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Okay, he made the wicked for the day of evil. Who's the wicked? Malachi 1 and 3, and I hated Esau, so he hates people. Okay, he doesn't love everybody. And I laid his mountains and heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Because this place is going to be destroyed, and it's going to be for the dragon. That's his heritage. Destruction. That's what he's going to inherit. Whereas Edom saith, which is a so-called white man, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. Because you got to think, Esau, Edom, when did he become impoverished? Jacob and Esau's forefather was Isaac, who was the son of who? Abraham. Okay, so he wasn't born impoverished. Things happened to the point where he was impoverished. Okay, a couple of times. Okay, and the Lord, he was under he after Babylon. Um, there was a time that Job was talking about. Okay, Job was saying he wouldn't even have them by the dogs of his flocks. So they were low. Okay, and he wasn't raised like that. So when did that happen? Okay, that was before Greece. As a matter of fact, that's when he first started to rule. But he broke out of let me see, what's that? Second Kings, the 8th chapter. He was servants to Solomon. Edom was, we had garrisons. Second Samuel, the 8th chapter, in Edom. You know, he was servants to Solomon. Then after that, he broke away, and the Lord really raised him up during the Greeks. And then there was a fall. Then the Greek Empire, the Romans took it over, and then during the Dark Ages, he wasn't doing good either. Okay. So this is what it's talking about. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord will have indignation forever. So he's always going to have this indignation for them. because that's what they were created to do. He said, and then there is something that gets released with nuclear weapons, and maybe even more with thermonuclear weapons. And then you end up building not dozens but thousands, and thousands of them in the 60s and 70s. So I think his name is Peter something. Peter Thiel, okay, Visions of Apocalypse. And when you listen to it, they don't have any clue. They don't have any clue, man. And this is why I was reading Isaiah 29 and 10. For the Lord have poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered. Now, this is talking about Israel or Jerusalem, okay? They didn't want to hear none of the gospel, man. They didn't want to hear that they were going to be destroyed by Babylon. They didn't want to hear it. So they prophesied lies, just like these Babylonians are prophesying lies. They think their inward thought is that their houses are going to continue forever. Okay. So they don't have any clue. No, your house ain't going to continue forever. The only house that's going to continue forever is the nation of Israel. Isaiah 40, Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And that's talking about Esau. Your dwelling place isn't gonna. We just read in Malachi that they shall build, but I will throw down. Okay, and what you built up America, right? You say that all the time. We built this. Okay. Well, he's gonna throw it down. Isaiah 29 and verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. So this is him who is learned. Peter Robinson. Let's Reen's point that the apocalyptic literature correctly read is, let's see what he says. Simply a prediction of what human beings will do to each other suddenly becomes up until 1945. He says, wait a minute, how could human beings possibly be responsible for the end of the world? Because that's what you were created to do. And it's not gonna be at the end of the world. We know, according to Ecclesiastes, that the earth abideth forever. So the whole world's not gonna end. A lot of people think that. They hear apocalypse. They probably teach this bullshit. But they're just contrary against the scriptures. They'll say anything that's not aligned with um, biblical prophecies. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, the thing that have been, it is which shall be. Salakia. Yep. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. It's verse 4. Yep. Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So it's never, the whole earth is never going to be destroyed to the way it just blows up and no one can inhabit it. He gonna try to do that, but his plan is going to backfire on him, and the only thing that's going to be destroyed is his world, okay, which is this age, okay. I believe it's oikomene. When you look at the word world in the Greek, there's three words. It's eon, meaning an age, oikomene, and cosmos, okay. So the only world that's going to end is the oikomene, because the age, okay. Um, uh, trying to think of a precept, because there's a couple. Um, John 3:16 is cosmos. I'm trying to think of an oikomene scripture. really think of one right now. Let me see if I can put on Oikin Kimene, inhabited world. Right. Let's see where it's at in the scriptures. So his world, it ain't talking about Oikumene Salaki. Oikumene translates to world or earth, the inhabited earth or the Roman world. But we're talking about an age, okay? Because let me grab it in second address. I want the app. Second address. This is what we talking about. Second address, chapter 6. I'll start at 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he saith unto me, For Abraham and unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that's the end of an age. Okay, the end, just like the age of the Babylonians, the age of the Persians and the Medes, the age of the Greeks, the age of the Romans. They all had their boundary that they couldn't pass. And Esau has one too. Okay, so this is what Isaiah 29 is talking about, in 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. This is pretty much what he's saying. How can human beings be responsible for the end of the world? After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the answer is only too obvious. There's liberal theologian writing in 1780. So you see, so they go into all these scholars, but they don't have the spirit in order to interpret what's written. Isaiah 29 and 12, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. So just like somebody who doesn't, a lot of you Christians do that. You're not, they don't actually read the Bible, man. They kind of repeat what other people say, you know. And this is kind of this guy over here. He's learned, he's not learned, and they're both trying to understand prophecy, and they both are wrong. Because ultimately they don't have the spirit. But meanwhile, he got 1 million subscribers, 465K views 6 months ago. And this is where people seek their knowledge from. Isaiah 29 and 12, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said, For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart, which is your mind, far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. And that's their problem, man. That's why when you follow these people, you come up with that same vain understanding of the Lord, and you'll never come to the conclusion of prophecy. You're never gonna have the spirit of prophecy. Okay? Which is Revelation 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So you want to be having the spirit of prophecy. They don't have the spirit of the Lord. Okay, they don't have it. First of all, they don't follow the commandments. Both of them are shaved. The scriptures tell you not to do that. He's wearing the Egyptian phallus around his neck. Okay, their mind is the precepts of men. They believe in Rome. Why would Rome be destroyed? Why would anybody want to do that? Because the Lord hates you. Okay, and he created you for the day of evil. Isaiah 29:14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. So the Lord's going to confound them, man. Their wisdom is going to perish, especially if they think this place is going to last, and then it becomes utterly destroyed by the same precepts that they don't understand. Saying that World War III, why would people do that? You know, he was talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which is all scriptural. Isaiah 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Now that's going into the just the Roman Empire, man. Okay, just like it is. This is Rome 2.0. You got the Democratic and the Republican Party. Okay, those are the two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon, going into draconian laws. And that's what we're starting to see. We're going to start to see more and more draconian as we get closer and closer to the end. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Talking about ancient Rome. Okay, and who's done that? America. This is Rome 2.0. And you can see that with its architecture, its system, the Senate, the way they conduct laws, the way they treat Israelites. Okay, just you know, there's a whole bunch of things you can Google Rome and America have in common. But it's not just Rome. He raised up Babylon all over again. Ancient Egypt, all these ancient, he's known as the Assyrians, Nineveh, you know, especially with these women becoming men, or the men becoming women. Revelation 13 and 14, and he deceiveth them, Sodom and Gomorrah, can't forget about that. Revelation 13 and 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And everyone has an image of the beast. Where this system, a lot of this democracy all over the world. You know, that's them making their image, trusting in Babylon. Isaiah 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great. Salakia, did I skip? I'm trying to see. Oh, I think I skipped over it. Revelation 13 and 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's the point, where he was bringing down these thermonuclear missiles. Okay, and that's when a lot of people were scared of him. Okay, and he's the one, by those miracles, made people afraid of him, um, that dwelt upon the earth. But now, hey, that's past now. Okay, now we're in a time where these other nations are breathing their swords into plowshares, or their plowshares into swords, and investing more in their military so they can go to war with this beast. So all of this is prophetic, and he don't understand that. Okay, so he gonna be confounded, because we know knowledge has increased according to Daniel the 12th chapter, and that book was sealed. It was sealed. So for some time, you know, when Daniel wrote this book, Daniel 12 in verse number 4, but thou, actually, hold on, I start at 2. Daniel 12 and 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, oh no, this is what I'm looking for. But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So this is what he's talking about by, you know, modern day tech. This is that knowledge being increased, knowledge going into the sciences. Okay, when you look at this word knowledge, let's go into it. Okay. Skill, knowledge, perception, discernment, understanding, wisdom. Okay. Going to the root word. To know, to learn to know. Okay. Because that's what science is. It's just knowledge. Be skillful and be wise. I thought knowledge was in this. Let me see. Let's look around. Let me control F this. So it's not in here. Learn to know. Let me just Google it. Um, Knowledge of any kind. Okay, that's what science means. So knowledge shall be increased. Okay, let me see. I thought it said it in the blue letter, but to know, perceive, be aware. But we know that's going into the science, this modern day tech that he's talking about in this. Okay, and the book was closed, but now the book is open because Yahweh Shai, the Lamb, had to be slain in order for us to get this knowledge. Okay, John the Revelator had to write the book of Revelation. Okay, the book was seven seals. See, they don't understand this. They think they're reading Daniel and say, "Oh, the book is still sealed." But when you read Revelation, the fifth chapter, just the first little 1 through 8, I'll read 1 through 10. Let's read it. Revelation 5:1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne, talking about Yahweh, a book written within on the backside, sealed with seven seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who was worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. So you got to think all this time, all these prophecies. Daniel's writing about the end. Everyone's thinking the end's gonna come. Is it now time to establish the kingdom of Israel in Acts 1 and 6? We wanted to know. Okay, there was gonna be a falling away first. All of this has been done now. Okay, now we understand that. Why? Because the lamb was slain. The books had to be written. The understanding, the Holy Spirit had to come so we can have it. And then there had to be a falling away, and then Abba Bivens had to come on the scene. Okay, and now it's just a continuation of what was prophesied. Revelation 5:2, and I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who was worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. Now the seals is a representation of the understanding of this knowledge of the book of the Bible. And no man in heaven nor on earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals thereof. So he was ordained or chosen to do this. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having seven horns and seven eyes, which are the seven spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. So this is talking about Yahweh. Yahweh Shai taking the book from Yahweh, which is the heavenly Father. And when he had taken the book, the four beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. So This is Yahweh Shai. This is why he's worthy to be praised. Okay? This is why we have this understanding. The saints, which are Israelites, these are not the saints. That's why they lack the understanding. These two are Edomites. And it says, the argument for why you should read apocalyptic literature is because occasionally you get these millenarian movements and people go crazy. And it's worth reminding yourselves of the madness of crowds. And then the secondary reason you can read it is for your amusement. So this is how they feel about the Bible, man. And that was sort of the Enlightenment optimism of circa 1780. And these were all these incredible, scary ideas. The Antichrist will kill so many people. So he's making it sound mythological. He's making it sound um, conspiratorial. Hey, this is the truth, though. You don't have to believe it, okay? But we don't expect Esau to believe these things because he's a natural man. Okay, he's a natural man. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. Yeah, he's more into carnality, things he can prove with science, and you know, um, he needs he needs to put it in a microscope and look all the way down and study it for months and then take notes and do all these all these tests and stuff, you know. But he don't have the spirit. See, this is a spiritual. This is spiritual. Okay, he doesn't have it. He don't understand these things because he's a beast. Okay, um, what's that scripture? The seven senses, KJV, and it's in the Apocrypha. Sirach 17. Let's go there. He don't got this. He's a beast. Okay. Sirach 17. I'll just start at the top. Point saying it's in 3 and 4. It says the Lord created man on the earth and turned him into it again. He gave them few days and a short time and power also over the things therein. He endowed them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image and put the fear of man upon all flesh and gave him dominion over the beasts and souls. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. And in the 6th, he imparted them understanding. In the 7th, speech and interpreter of cogitations thereof. Counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears and a heart gave he them to understand. Withal, he filled them with knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil. He set his eye upon their hearts, and he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. So that's what separates uh, the beast from the men, is the understanding. Okay, but he can't declare it because he doesn't have understanding. Okay, because this knowledge was given to the, most importantly on this side, to the elect of Israel. Okay, um, verse 10, Ecclesiastes 17 and 10, and the elect shall praise his holy name. They don't praise his holy name. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance. They don't keep the law. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. They don't know his judgments. They're the ones causing the judgment. Okay, they're natural. They're the natural man. Okay. Ecclesiastes. Let me just jump over here. 3. So like, let me make sure I didn't want to go too far with this, but I'm just gonna go with the spirit. Ecclesiastes 3, um, in verse 18, it says, I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beast. Even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man have no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. Yeah, so technically we're all beasts, okay? But the elect, um, he's given them understanding. Okay, so the elect men, they're like the best, man. That's the best of the best right there, because they have the understanding. Now that's gonna ultimately transcend into everlasting life when the Lord redeems his elect. So this is why we want to endure in this until the end. Okay, now he thinks, everlasting life comes through via his witchcraft, half robot and all this stuff. But he don't believe in these things, man. He don't believe in the Lord, because if he understood the Lord, that everlasting life, isn't Jesus, so-called Jesus, isn't he on the right hand of God? He's not half robot and human. And he said, y'all are gonna be like him. So why are you trying to create something contrary to what you believe in? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? But that's what a hypocrite does, man. They contradict themselves. Antichrist would kill so many people. Now, the anti-Hamashiach is this system that we're in. Okay? It's contrary to every law that's written in the Bible. And who set this system up? Who slaughtered to set themselves up in this land? Esau, the devil. Okay? And if you understood the laws of the Bible, you would see that all of them are being transgressed at a very high level. And he doesn't implement the law, so it's going to continue. I was just watching how, one kid killed 3 kids, try to rob this dude, and then the dude kills all the 3 kids. But see, if they saw judgment going on, those kids wouldn't be robbing, and they think they can get away with it. That's why they did that. Okay, and ultimately it goes back to Esau for not upholding the law of God. Okay, so more people are going to be killed just by a system. And then what does he do with the murderer? He don't judge him according to the law. You shed man's blood, your blood shall be shed. But he don't do that. What does he do? He puts you in jail. He uses all these resources to keep you, feed you, house you, all these things, using more taxpayer money. That's wicked, man. That's just wicked. That's the type of system that Esau. That's just one example. There's plenty more. Okay, look at any law. Thou shalt not steal. Plenty of stealing. Okay, but why is that system like that? You got to look into these things. These are things that Israel doesn't consider. When you look at the laws of God, you say the laws are done away with. In some form, it is done away with, but not because the Lord told you not to follow the law. No, Esau created a system where transgressing the laws of God is normal. Okay, but the laws have never been done away with. That's why the Lord, he came and did all the laws perfectly, and he was a worthy sacrifice for the Lord. And when he died, he went into everlasting. Okay, he was perfected. Okay, and we want to be perfected by keeping those laws too, because hey, look how much it benefited the Lord. That's him doing it perfectly. Now imagine just doing it to the best of your ability, how far that will get you. not that you, not that the law is going to save you, because ultimately Yahweh Shai and your faith is what's going to ultimately be the end all be all, because it's all faith. But through your faith, it's gonna the Lord's gonna um, teach you how to be more like Him, who followed the law perfectly. But it's all gonna be through your obedience. He's gonna reveal these things to you when you read the Bible, and he's gonna be working on your spirit, and your spirit is gonna manifest itself through your works, not just teaching, just on how you walk, how you behave, how you are towards your brother. You know, these things, Yahweh Shah can shine through you. You know, those qualities of having a spirit, which is ultimately Yahweh Shah. You know, if he's dealing with you, you're gonna start showing things about yourself that reflect Yahweh Shah. You're like a reflection of his light. Okay. That's walking in the spirit. And you're gonna fall because you're still in the flesh. But at the same time, wherever you fall, you're going to be covered with the blood of Yahweh Shai, because if you're part of that number. And it says, he would come with a crematorium to burn the bodies of all the people he killed. The sort of lurid medieval notions people had. And of course, them after the end of Hitler in 1945, this stuff just wasn't so funny anymore. So, you know, I don't want to, I didn't watch the whole video. So it sounds like he's clearly talking about Hitler. But before all of this, um, when you go back here, when you watch the video, you can kind of get more context about it. You know, his idea about the apocalypse. And plus, when you look at the word apocalypse, um, let's look that up. Um, I think it just means revelation. Okay, define apocalypse. The complete final destruction of the world as described in the biblical book of Revelation, an event involving destruction or damage on an awesome or catastrophic scale. Revelation or unveiling. The true meaning of apocalypse in its original context is revelation or unveiling. And it's the revealing of these prophecies. Okay. The MOTB, that's starting to be revealed more and more, which is the RFID microchip. World War III, that's being revealed more and more. He already revealed, he's revealing this all the time. Revelation 17, that's being revealed more and more. Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe is past, which is the Second World War, and the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, so that third world war is coming quickly. All of these things are manifesting themselves and coming quickly. But I'm gonna end it right there. Lord's will, that was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, Shalom.